Okay, let's try something. Right now, wherever you are, just look around. Seriously, how many screens do you see? You've got your phone, probably a computer monitor, a TV, maybe even your watch. So what's the count? Two? Four? Maybe more? Well, here's the crazy part. There's a really, really good chance that the actual screen, the display itself, on most of those devices was made by one single company, Samsung. Yeah, even if the logo on the front says something completely different. So today, we're going to unpack the absolutely wild story of how that company went from, well, a tiny little shop to the global tech giant that literally builds the world we look at every single day. Now, to really get how massive Samsung is, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. And let me tell you, it is not what you think. Back in 1938, Samsung wasn't building smartphones. That's for sure. It was a small trading company founded by Lee Byung-chul. And get this, its main exports in the 40s were dried fish and noodles. I'm not kidding. Noodles. It took more than 30 years until 1969 for the part of the company we all know, Samsung Electronics, to even exist. So, how on earth do you go from noodles to microchips? Well, it was a huge gamble. They decided to jump into the electronics game, a market already dominated by Japanese titans. And for a long, long time, Samsung was, kind of just the underdog. You see, in those early years, Samsung wasn't innovating at all. They had this strategy of being a fast follower. Basically, they'd wait for a company like Sony to release some cool new gadget, and then they'd rush to make a cheaper, knockoff version. They were known for being, let's say, functional, affordable, but nobody was buying a Samsung for its amazing quality. But look, you can only be the copycat for so long. To become what they are today, Samsung had to face a huge crisis, one that would force them to completely burn down their old identity and start over. And the change was dramatic. I mean, look at this. The Samsung of the 80s was all about being low cost, a follower, purely functional. The Samsung we know now, it's a premium, design obsessed industry leader. So, what on earth happened to cause that shift? This happened. In 1993, the company's chairman, Lee Kun-hee, reportedly gathered all his top executives and gave them this legendary and pretty ruthless command. He was sick and tired of Samsung being seen as a cheap brand. This was basically a declaration of war on their own mediocrity. It was time to get serious about quality. But the final push, the thing that really forced their hand, came from the outside. The 1997 Asian financial crisis hit them like a ton of bricks. It nearly bankrupted the entire company. It was a terrifying do-or-die moment. They had absolutely no choice but to fully commit to this new identity of being a world-class innovator. Okay, so once they had this new mindset, this obsession with quality, how did they actually go out and conquer the world? Well, it wasn't just about making cooler products, it was about building a smarter machine to make them. Their secret weapon, their superpower, became this thing called vertical integration. Sounds kind of corporate, but it's simple. Instead of buying parts from other companies, Samsung just decided, you know what? We're going to make everything ourselves. The memory chips, the processors, the batteries, and this is the big one, the screens. This gave them insane control over quality, cost, and how fast they could create new stuff. And the results? They were just mind-blowing. Take the TV market. Because they made their own amazing screens, they just totally dominated. They shot to number one, and they've held that top spot for more than 15 years in a row. And as you can see, it's not even a close race. And their control is so deep, it's almost hard to believe. Samsung makes over 70% of all the memory chips that go into smartphones worldwide. Think about that. That means even when you buy a phone from their biggest rival, yeah, like an iPhone, there's a good chance you're still buying critical parts made by Samsung. They literally win even when their competitors win. But here's the real kicker. The company is so much bigger than just electronics. Samsung is a chaebol, a massive South Korean conglomerate. They build some of the largest ships on the planet. They built the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa.